What are you baking for us today, Sixie? I'm baking one of Mel's specialities, carrot cake with low-fat carrot icing and carrot juice, carrot juice, carrot juice. What about you four? Jelly baby cake, my dear. Would you care for one? They're rather good. So, we've heard their menus. Which baking baker boy will bake the best baking? Find out in the Great Intergalactic Bake-Off.
Christel.
Oh, sorry. Roll titles. Hello and welcome to The Fan Show. This week we're in the kitchen and I'm joined by Great British Bake Off winner and resident Doctor Who baker Edd Kimber. Hello Ed.
Hello.
So, what are we making today?
So today we're going to make a TARDIS out of Battenburg, so kind of TARDIS inspired, nice and blue and really easy to make as well.
Should we get started?
Absolutely. So we've got a ready-made cake and all we've got in here is butter and sugar that's been creamed together for about 10 minutes. And then we added some eggs, some vanilla and some almond extract. And then we've added some flour, almonds and a little bit of baking powder. Really, really easy, really, really simple, just a basic cake sponge. Then all we're going to do is divide this in half. And then what we're going to do is add some colouring to it. So because the TARDIS windows are kind of two shades, we're going to add real black to one of them and then just a little bit to the other. So one should be a lot lighter than the other. What you want to make sure is that you mix it thoroughly so you don't get any streaks of white, because that will show up in the actual cake as well. All we're going to do is divide our batter into our two tins, and all we've done is lightly grease them and then line them with a strip of parchment, which just makes lifting out the cake a lot easier later. So you're going to put yours into that one.
Cool.
I'll put mine into this one. That's it, just right into the middle, and then we should be able to just spread it out into a nice, even layer, and just tease it into the corners so you get nice straight-sided squares. So once they're in our cake tins, we're just going to put those in the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. And the way you can test they're done is just lightly press them, and if it springs back, it's done. If you put a little toothpick or skew it into the middle, it should come out clean. And then you can leave them in the tins to cool for about 15 minutes because they need to be really cold before we can construct the cake, otherwise it'll just fall into pieces.
While that's in the oven, here are some of our favourite Doctor Who bakes from around the internet. A veritable feast of time-old tasties.
Join Sorted Foods' resident Whovian, Ben, for this awesome garlic bread recipe. The secret ingredient is ground up garlic apparently, available in no good supermarkets.
Thirsty after repeatedly reversing the polarity, Mitch from Geek and Sundry has created a mocktail inspired by the favourite tool of the Doctor, the sonic screwdriver.
Impress your friends with Cupcake Gemma's awesome Dalek cupcakes, complete with edible ball bearings for Dalek bombs. Nice.
And finally, if you're looking for a ghoulish treat to make this Halloween, why not rustle up your very own pudding brain? A disgusting but delicious treat by, well, you Ed.
Yeah.
How long have we got left?
22 minutes?
Any way we could speed things up? It is a time travel show, after all.
True. From the future.
So what are we doing here?
So what we're doing is we're just going to trim off the edges so that we've got a really nice sharp edge square, so that when we cut and construct the cake, it's got really nice even edges.
And I guess that's why we smooth down the top.
Yes, so
well.
we can try and get a nice flat surface for when it bakes.
Okay, so what's next? How do we assemble the Battenburg?
So what we need to do is take our marzipan. So we're using white marzipan because it'll take on colour better. So don't use the yellow stuff because you end up with a green colour. So all we're going to do is kind of fold it in half and make like a little indent there. And we're going to take our colours. Now to make our TARDIS blue, we're going to use a mix of navy and royal blue. Encase this into the marzipan first, so that it doesn't initially get onto your hands, and then all we do is knead it through, so that eventually we will get a nice blue marzipan.
Ooh.
And now we're going to clean, because this
Yeah.
is not conducive to baking. So all we need to do now is cut our cake into equal sized pieces, 4 of the black and then 2 of the grey. So you can have a little bit of grey left over. And the cake needs to be nice and cool for this, because if it's warm, it'll crumble and fall apart. I don't have a sonic screwdriver, I have a dusting wand. So I'm going to use just
dusting wand.
just to cover the surface in a little bit of icing sugar. And this just means that the marzipan's not going to stick, but you don't use flour because when you eat it, it'll just taste gummy. So use a little bit of icing sugar. So just onto there, press it down so you start it already. Dust that with a little bit of icing sugar. And then what we need to do is roll it out so it's long enough and wide enough so that we can roll the whole thing up inside. So that is probably about long enough. So all we've done is we've turned it over so that most of the icing sugar is on the inside, so we get that nice blue outside. Then we're going to take some buttercream and just spread it all over.
And how have you made the buttercream?
So this is a really classic buttercream. It's just 100 grams of butter, 200 grams of icing sugar, a little bit of vanilla and a little bit of lemon oil just to give it a little bit of flavour as well. So just spread that all over, and this just wants to be a really thin layer, and this is basically edible glue. So all we need to do now is construct it. It's really, really simple. You just have to kind of replicate the look of the window. So we're going to place one of our grey windows right on the end, and then to make that stick again, we're just going to cover this side with a little bit of the buttercream as well. Again, it's just enough to seal in the cake so that it sticks and doesn't fall apart when you cut it. And then we're going to take the next one, which is our black, and then just place that in, and you want to give it a nice squeeze so that it sticks, because traditionally you'd use jam, and jam's a lot stickier than buttercream, so you just need to give it a little help. And then exactly the same again, just a little bit of buttercream. Don't worry about crumbs, because this will crumb quite a lot, but once you assemble it, you won't notice it, so it's fine. What we want to do is take our knife and just trim off the outside edge here, just so that we've got a nice clean edge to start with, and then tip very carefully. Try and keep this roll nice and tight, otherwise you end up with kind of loose on the side, and then carefully again. And then one last time, like that. Trim off the ends to make a neater finish, just very carefully cut through, just nice gentle pressure. And don't worry that you're going to lose the shape on this, because you will the first time you cut it. We need to lift it onto something to serve, so I'm just going to use a palette knife just to tease underneath so that we can lift it off nice and easily and place onto our tray. And then if you have got something where you've cut, just gently press it back, get rid of any crumbs, and then we're going to decorate the top to make it look like the panel on the front of the TARDIS.
Ooh.
So all we're going to do is take some white sugar paste, some white fondant, and roll it out on a lightly dusted work surface with some icing sugar, and just roll it nice and thin, about again ½ centimetre thick. And then we're going to cut out a square that's just smaller than the top of our TARDIS, and then place that onto the top of the cake. And we're just going to brush the back of it with a little bit of water, which will act as glue. And then once it's on there, we're going to use an edible marker pen to very carefully write on the police box details, and then we'll be finished.
Well, thank you so much, Ed, for baking this for us. And if you want to have a go, full details of the recipe are available in the description below. Let's have a look at some of the Doctor Who bakes you've sent in. Samantha H sent us a picture of a police box cake, and check out these jammy dodgers. James S and his girlfriend decorated these Dalek cupcakes, cunningly using a jelly baby for Davros. And Daniel F got this delicious Dalek birthday cake. As Missy would say, yummy. And if you have a go at making your own TARDIS Battenburg cake, send us your pics to dwthefanshow@bbc.com or tweet us at dwthefanshow.
I guess we should try some.
I'd love to, but I'm really intolerant.
That's not good.
I'll have some. I'll take it. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.